My name is Seth Garfield. I'm the chair of the board of the Community Foundation, and I want to welcome you. I also want to thank all of our board members who are here. There's several of them here. They have name tags, as well as a lot of you, but it's important to have our board here. And I also personally want to thank the staff that greeted you when you arrived here for organizing all of this for the Jacobs. On behalf of the Community Foundation of Southeastern Massachusetts, I want to thank Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs, who we've been here for a frantic at least 36 hours, for your continued support of the scholarship program and other New Bedford organizations that have benefited from your philanthropy. I know it means a great deal to the 5 scholarship recipients here today that you take time out of your busy year to visit and come to the East Coast from the West Coast to personally present them with their scholarships. This afternoon's presentations event has become an annual city celebration. We had lunch with the mayor today. We entertained some of the young entrepreneurs in New Bedford last night, and we will have a delightful dinner upstairs later on today. But we really appreciate you coming. And the nice thing is that you're recognizing the academic achievements and promises that each of these 5 scholarship recipients represent. I want to personally thank Mayor Mitchell when he gets here and the representatives of the New Bedford Public Schools, the Greater New Bedford Regional Voc Tech School, as well as the Global Learning Public Charter School, who are joining us today to honor these students and to show their appreciation for Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs. The presentation of these 5 scholarships will bring the total of the Jacobs Scholarships awardees to 63, and many of them you've just been watching on the slideshow that Donna had set up for us. I'd like now to introduce John Vasconcellos, who's already introduced himself, the Community Foundation president, to tell you a little bit more about the scholarship program.
So very, very happy to be here. Thank you, Seth, and thank you to the rest of the board of the Community Foundation who's here to help. And let me second the thanks for Megan, Kim, Nancy, Lee, and Holly, and I know Ethan is here, my staff from the Community Foundation, a truly spectacular group of folks. So it's an absolute pleasure to work with them. It has also been really lovely to get to know Erwin and Joan these last 2 days. It's been an absolute treat. And they, 18 years ago, they made an investment, a deep investment in this community that said they want to inform change through improving the opportunity for education for kids in New Bedford. And Erwin will tell you his story, but it's a classic New Bedford story. A young man of very simple means who went through our public school system and made something truly exceptional for himself and the world, his family, and as a result, he gives back to the community. He and Joan give back to the community. And that is just, if there's ever a definition of a life well lived, that is it. If you take nothing away from today's proceedings but that, it will have been worth your time, I believe. So thank you both so much, so much. Along with the Jacobs Scholarship, the Community Foundation holds and manages about 50 other scholarship funds totaling assets of over $8 million. We give approximately $350,000 away each year to scholars from southeastern Massachusetts. We view this portfolio as one of the tools we have to improve our region's educational attainment. Lots of other initiatives that I just want to touch on very quickly. From local private education foundations to an early literacy initiative, to funding for adult education and environmental education programs, and then very recently through our Acushnet Foundation Fund, we've created the Greater New Bedford Youth Alliance, which brings together 30 youth-serving organizations to create a more seamless connection amongst those groups, so when young people are not at school, they are connected to organizations, but if you have a connection to the Community Boating Center, we want to make sure you know about what's happening at the New Bedford Art Museum and what is happening at the YMCA or what is happening at the New Bedford Zoo. That is effort that we take great pride in. Overall, between scholarships and grants, the Community Foundation last year gave away $2.5 million to the betterment of the quality of life here in southeastern Massachusetts. I also want to acknowledge our scholarship committee, chaired by Seth, who you met earlier, but I also know that Carl Cruz is here. Is Shelley Honeycutt here? Okay, or Jill Usach. I know Megan Boyle on our staff. Tara Montalbal, I saw her. Let's give them a round of applause because they do really, they have the fun, but rather heady work of vetting through a lot of applications. I don't need to tell you what the level of need is in this community. So to see all the kids, and you want to say yes to every one of these kids. Every one of these kids you want to give a chance to. But because of our focus and our deliberation and what we're trying to truly do, it requires some tough choices. And that scholarship committee takes the lead, and they do it exceptionally well. I'm honored to be a part of that group, and it is really humbling. So I'd like now to call up the leadership from the three public schools, well, not public schools, well, they are public schools for where the scholars are from, but varying degrees of responsibilities from the people you will meet. I'd like to start off by introducing and welcoming some comments from the inimitable Dr. Pia Durkin and New Bedford High School headmaster Bernadette Coelho.
Thank you very much. I had the distinct privilege this morning of introducing Dr. Jacobs to 600 students at New Bedford High School. They were 9th graders and some of our dual enrollment students. And as a true teacher and role model, he held them captive in an auditorium, and you know how 9th graders can be. It was an excellent speech about who he is, what he represents. This afternoon represents, again, a measure of his generosity, but most important, as I said this morning, giving our kids, and they're all our kids, the opportunities and possibilities for the future. He has laid out for them a roadmap that will become their own, but in many ways will become probable success. We cannot thank you enough to our students. We are so proud of you. You took advantage of working very hard, of being your own persons, and making that road your own. Now you have a heavy responsibility of making sure that others will follow, to join the network of the Jacobs Scholars as they become alumni and you become successful in changing the world on your own. I'm very pleased to introduce Bernadette Coelho, our headmaster, who does this work day in and day out and has a deep commitment to every child's success at New Bedford High School.
Thank you, Dr. Durkin, and again to Dr. Jacobs and Mrs. Jacobs for your commitment to New Bedford and for our students. I truly appreciate that from the bottom of my heart, the difference that you are making and continue to make in the greater New Bedford area. I'd like to also take a moment to congratulate all 5 of our recipients, to Vanessa and Isaiah. Congratulations to both of you. I know that you're going to go on to do great things. And to our students from New Bedford High School, Caitlin, Gwen, and Skyla. I can't say enough about what you have brought to New Bedford High School. You exemplify the high school's core values, and those are respect, responsibility, determination, creativity, and pride. Respect of your peers, your teachers, and your administrators at New Bedford High School. The responsibility that you have shown over 4 years. It's not easy to do what you do, to balance extracurricular, to balance work, to balance home, to balance a heavy AP course load. Your determination to get all of those things done and to persevere. Your creativity. You're part of the Whaler family, but you're all unique, and you have all contributed in different ways to the fabric of New Bedford High School. And finally, pride. Take pride in yourselves today for what you have accomplished, what you'll continue to accomplish, and know that you have the pride of everyone in this room, your family members, and from me. Congratulations to all of you.
Next, I'd like to have join me here at the podium Dr. Stephen Furtado, Executive Director from Global Learning Charter Public School.
Thank you, John. To Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs, to Mayor Mitchell, fellow administrators, members of the Community Foundation, family, friends, and of course, especially the scholarship recipients. It's once again an honor to be a part of an event that represents the culmination of a kindergarten through grade 12 experience for our scholarship recipients. Each year we are asked to identify students that will further their education in the field of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And this year we are so proud that Isaiah Spencer was selected by the Community Foundation as a recipient from the Global Learning Charter Public School. He met that criteria. Isaiah will major in environmental science and engineering at Brown University. I know the program says Worcester Polytech, and there's nothing against Worcester Polytech, but it's really Brown. This fall, Isaiah interned at Apex Companies in New Bedford, where he assisted the engineering and environmental science teams with reporting and designs. He's been a student that has displayed excellence in the classroom, his commitment to our community, and a role model for our younger students. He's one of the most caring and unselfish students that I have met in my many years of education. Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs' commitment to education in New Bedford and throughout the country, not only in these scholarships, but through their generosity throughout the years, has allowed us to provide our students with the technology necessary to be prepared for what lies before them when they move on to college. We are able to expand our STEM programs and qualify for national grants due to the infrastructure we have in place. It is without question that Isaiah is prepared to major in environmental science and engineering because of the coursework he took at GLCPS and the dual enrollment programs at Bristol Community College. So today, the recognition of these students is only the beginning. The scholarships provide opportunities that may have been denied. We are proud that our students continue to be recognized by Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs. And once again, a strong message is sent when the students of a charter high school, the city's high school, the city's vocational high school are recognized for their success. As educators, our job is to teach all children of New Bedford to be successful regardless of where they attend. And on behalf of the staff, students, and families of GLCPS, we thank you for continuing to send that message, and we congratulate all of the scholarship recipients and wish them well on their educational journey. Thank you.
Now I'd like to ask Dr. James O'Brien, Superintendent Director of Greater New Bedford Regional Vocational Technical High School.
Thank you. To the Jacob family, I'd like to thank you for your kindness and generosity of the students from the city of New Bedford. It's heartfelt to not only the educators, but the parents and the community to give that sense of hope to these kids. To the entire students who are receiving this recipient today, look, all of you could have done well at any school. For us, Vanessa being a student at our school, or any other recipients, you'd have done fine, whether it be Tabor Academy, Dartmouth High School, Fairhaven High School. You are the best of the best. You represent your student body well. To the parents, the grandparents, and guardians, we thank you for your extra effort, your encouragement to these students to go beyond book knowledge of being kind, respectful, having the commitment, the courage, and the conviction. And it's paid dividends for them to have a great journey ahead of them. As the superintendent of Greater New Bedford Voc Tech, I want to thank Vanessa for representing of our over 2,200 students, student body well. And to all the recipients, congratulations, and enjoy graduation and be safe at your prom. Thank you.
Thank you all for those great comments. Today's guest speaker is Emily Westgate. Emily is a 2011, come on up, Emily, is a 2011 Jacobs Scholarship recipient and graduate of Global Learning Charter Public School. Emily just graduated. When did you graduate?
I graduate on Sunday.
Oh, will soon graduate. Everything's good, right?
They say so.
No surprises. Okay, good. With, listen to this, a master's degree in public health following a rigorous 5-year program that combined a Bachelor of Arts degree and a master's in public health. During her time at Brown, Emily spent a lot of time in the greater Providence community, working with youth-based organizations and other public health entities to immerse herself in that particular field as a student. Currently, Emily is working for Plus One Health Management as an on-site health promotion specialist at Ocean Spray Cranberries. Lots of great stuff in there that we love.
I love the juice.
Exactly. And ultimately, and this is what we all love to hear in this room, her goal is to work within New Bedford, the community that she loves. Join me in welcoming Emily.
Good afternoon. Welcome, Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs. It is always inspiring to see you visit our little city of New Bedford. Congratulations to the scholars and their families here today. It is an incredible accomplishment to receive this scholarship, and this only marks a new beginning of your lifelong learning journey. I'd like to thank the Community Foundation for inviting me here to speak today. It is an honor to share with you my experiences since I was sitting in your seat a few years ago. When I graduated from the Global Learning Charter Public School in 2011 and received the Jacobs Scholarship, I planned to attend the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences to become a physician assistant. A late acceptance from Brown University altered that plan though. After taking a gap year in 2012, I started my journey at Brown, where I studied public health and became engrossed in health inequalities, social determinants of health, and the link between education and health outcomes for children, youth, and their families. In my junior year, I was accepted into the AB/MPH program, and in a few short days, I'll be graduating with my master's. I currently work in a branch of public health that I hadn't anticipated working within as an on-site health promotion specialist, but I understand that health promotion in its foundation is the same, and a focus on health and well-being is universal. I intend for my career path to lead me back to New Bedford, the community that shaped me, to better understand the social and educational disparities that exist here, as I desire a New Bedford where all of our children are healthy, well-educated, and hopeful about their futures. I'm here with you today to share how the Jacobs Scholarship impacted my life. When I received the scholarship, I knew it would alleviate the financial burden that my mother would face sending me to college. My mother is a clinical social worker in the city and worked endlessly to ensure that my siblings and I received a valuable education, and she instilled the importance of higher education in us from an early age. Financially, though, she would struggle to pay tuition. For me, the Jacobs Scholarship filled a void and instilled hope. What I didn't realize as a senior in high school was how much the Jacobs Scholarship would impact my experience at Brown as an undergraduate student. I did work as a student through those years, but I did not have to work to pay my tuition bill, a stress that low-income students often face. For this, I am grateful to the Jacobs. Rather than working many hours in dining services as many friends had to, I was able to take positions within my field of study and work minimal hours. These professional experiences, such as coordinating a sexual health education program for high school students in Providence and developing a series of summer programs for students as an intern with Youth in Action, these all contributed to my development as a public health professional. These connections have been invaluable and have turned into both professional relationships and personal friendships. The Jacobs Scholarship also provided continuous relief when my mother had to stop working due to my stepfather's illness and ultimately his passing. If I had not received the Jacobs Scholarship and had to rely on my family's ability to pay my tuition, it is likely I would have had to take time off of Brown, as my mom was unable to work for about 2.5 years. The generosity of Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs has allowed me to focus on my academics and on-campus activities as well. This was especially important during my first year at Brown, which, let's say, was an adjustment in many, many ways. For the first time in my life, I was competing academically with students who attended highly competitive high schools and who came from worlds who were so different than my own. Fortunately, I found social classmates during my first year, which was a student-run organization that promoted cross-class dialogue on campus. This community of students gave me an outlet to discuss challenges that the socioeconomic diversity at an Ivy League institution developed. Social classmates was an unexpected portion of my life at Brown and helped me to develop a vocabulary for discussing cross-class differences, important conversations I did not know I'd be having at Brown. It is without a doubt that the Jacobs Scholarship was a generous, generous gift from Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs that allowed me an opportunity to attend Brown, immerse myself in the field of public health, and experience the immense opportunities available on campus without the financial burden for my family. But there is so much more to the scholarship. Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs are transforming our community. Their presence is a reminder of the importance of higher education and reaffirms their commitment to the future of our city. Research indicates that higher educational attainment is associated with higher earnings and greater prosperity for the community at large. Yet only 19.5% of New Bedford residents have a bachelor's degree or higher. While this is on the rise, and I know personally that professionals and academic leaders in this room are actively working to support students through college, low-income students, first-generation students, and students of non-English speaking parents historically face more challenges in getting to college. But each year at this event, 5 students from New Bedford are celebrated and supported for their success and commitment to higher education. Students at Carlos Pacheco are inspired and begin thinking about their educational futures because they are not forgotten by you. The Jacobs visit them each year and help create broader visions for their future. Former Jacobs scholars are invited back and are reconnected with their communities, their peers, and are hopefully re-inspired to reconnect within the community. Each year, our community is transformed by your visit. By being a Jacobs Scholar, by attending Brown, and by investing in my own community, I have been transformed. My public health education at Brown continuously directs my thinking, and it is my hope for these scholars that your education, your passion, your learning experience does the same for you. Jacobs Scholars, you are potential leaders for our city, and you have the capacity to create change in our community. I urge you to lead by example for your peers, your younger siblings, your cousins, the younger students in New Bedford. I encourage you to stay involved in your community despite where your college or career path may take you. Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs have made a commitment to the future of scholars in New Bedford, and it is my hope that we, as Jacobs Scholarship recipients, can also contribute to the transformation of our urban landscape. I leave you with a quote from Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Let us all continue to contribute to the transformation of our beautiful and richly historic city of New Bedford. Thank you.
Wow, right? If that was it. That was the message. That was the impact. That is a life that is deeply changed by such philanthropy and such a community and someone who gets it and is going to build on that and come back and help continue to turn this region around. Emily, an absolute gift to me. Thank you. And as Seth mentioned, there are many dozens of other similar Jacobs scholars. And we have at least a dozen here today. What was consistent throughout each of these is a message of thoughtful ambition and drive and hope and a desire to be better engaged in our community, however you define that. Each of those stories is so powerful, and I got to tell you all, we are all so much better off for the work that you're doing. Thank you for what you've done, thank you for what you're going to do, and thank you for being here. Let's give them all a round of applause. So everyone gets to tell a story about a life. I'm now going to tell you a story about 2 lives. And you have one guess who those 2 lives might be. Joan Jacobs and Irwin Jacobs. Dr. Jacobs was born in New Bedford and graduated from New Bedford High School in June 1950. He went on to earn a Bachelor's of Engineering degree from Cornell University and a Master's and Doctor of Science degrees in Electrical Engineering from MIT. From 1959 to 1966, Dr. Jacobs was an Assistant Associate Professor of Electrical Engineering at MIT, and from 1966 to 1972 was a Professor of Computer Science and Engineering at UC San Diego. You see a direction moving here. Dr. Jacobs co-founded Linkabit Corp. In 1968, which merged with Maycom in August 1980. In July 1985, and I found out at a dinner last night, he had retired and came out of retirement in 1985 when 7 industry veterans came together in the den of the Jacobs' beautiful, very beautiful San Diego home to discuss an idea. These visionaries decided they wanted to build quality communications and outlined a plan that has evolved into one of telecommunication industry's greatest startup success stories, Qualcomm Incorporated. Dr. Jacobs led Qualcomm through a period of rapid growth with more than 30,000 employees worldwide at 200 locations, over 200 locations. International activities in digital wireless telephone and mobile satellite communications and internet software. He was CEO through 2005, chairman through 2009, and today continues to serve as founding chairman and CEO emeritus. Much of Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs' philanthropy over the years has been focused on the arts, culture, and education, as we know. Very much focused in San Diego. We know the impact they have here, which is incredible. But their other home, San Diego, has benefited immensely from their philanthropy, including support for the San Diego Symphony and the La Jolla Playhouse. They've been major contributors to the new San Diego Central Library, the new UC San Diego Jacobs Medical Center, the Jacobs School of Engineering, and with their son Gary and daughter-in-law Jerry Ann, the High-Tech High charter school system, which is truly an inspiration for what we're doing here in New Bedford in our education. And that school now serves 5,000 students in San Diego. They're major supporters of the Jacobs Technion Cornell Institute at Cornell Tech in New York City, and scholarships and fellowships at Cornell, MIT, UC San Diego, and Technion. Joan Jacobs is a New York City native, I should have known, who has become a leader in the San Diego community since moving to La Jolla in 1966. She has played a vital role in the San Diego arts community and currently chairs the San Diego Symphony Foundation, launched in 2003 to create an endowment that ensures that the symphony will exist. She also serves on the board of the La Jolla Playhouse, is chair of the art committee of the UC San Diego Foundation, and is vice president of the executive committee of the Jewish Community Foundation of San Diego County. Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs have been cited by Business Week and the Chronicle of Philanthropy, listen folks, as amongst the 50 most generous philanthropists in the United States. And here they are in New Bedford. And listen to this one. In August 2010, Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs signed the Giving Pledge. Rather simple concept if you think about it. That has been co-signed by other extremely wealthy individuals in the United States, an effort spearheaded by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, which is a commitment from this very philanthropic group of people to donate more than half of their wealth during their lifetime to charity. That is a phenomenal gift. Thank you. And now it's what we call in the industry the big check time. So Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs, could you please join me? So our first recipient is Isaiah Spencer. Isaiah, come on up. Can I get someone to help with the check?
Careful.
Oh. There you go. Isaiah. Isaiah is the first in his class at Global Charter School and is first in his class rank and plans to major in engineering with a concentration in environmental science at Brown University. His hope is to create a safer, more sustainable environment for future generations. He has been involved in many extracurricular activities, including the school's robotics team. Isaiah has also been a part of the Student Ambassadors Committee for 4 years, leading tours for new students of the school. He has been a member of the basketball team for all 4 years, serving as captain for 3 of them, earning the Most Valuable Player Award. Academically, he received the highest honors award in 10th grade and is a current member of the National Honor Society. And invite Isaiah to say a few words.
Good afternoon, Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs, Mayor Mitchell, family, students, and friends. I am so thankful for the generosity of Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs for giving students the opportunity to receive this outstanding scholarship. I am truly honored and excited to stand here in front of you all to accept this award. I would not be standing here today without the support and encouragement from my mother, father, brother, friends, my church family, and my school. The teachers, staff, and administration at the Global Learning Charter Public School created a community environment that allowed me to be myself while striving to achieve my educational and personal goals in a culturally diverse setting. I believe I am now well prepared for the next chapter in my life. This scholarship will allow me to continue my education at Brown University to study engineering and environmental science. Once my college education is completed, I plan to give back to my community by volunteering in community services, by sharing with students in New Bedford what I've learned and accomplished at Brown University, and by helping our community to work together. Because like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, we must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. A community working together is a great community, but a community working together for a purpose is what New Bedford can and should be. Dr. Jacobs and Mrs. Jacobs are both wonderful examples of people who are bringing the community together for a purpose. I would again like to thank Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs for being an inspiration and for supporting education in our community. Congratulations to the rest of you who are receiving the Jacobs Scholarship as well. Thank you.
From Greater New Bedford Regional Vocational Technical High School, Vanessa Bryan. Vanessa plans to major in biology at Framingham State University. Her personal experience with Alzheimer's disease and cancer within her family has led her to question these diseases, why these diseases continue to persist and what causes them, and to pursue a career doing medical research on such diseases. Vanessa has been captain of the Voc Tech cross country, winter track, and spring track teams, and recipient of the South Coast Conference Female Chapman Award for cross country. She's also been a Voc Tech Advisory Community Board member for the past 2 years, representing her medical assistant shop, a member of Bears Building Community Club, and Skills USA Medical Terminology Award. Vanessa attended the C-Lab Marine Science program from 5th grade through the program's completion in her 9th grade. Congratulations. Oh, sorry. Keeping track of too many moving parts.
Right, so thank you for this scholarship. I'm very honored to have been chosen. My family and I were extremely excited to receive the news. When I first read it, I didn't even believe it. I will be using this scholarship when I attend Framingham State University in the fall. There I'll be majoring in the biology program, and I will become a member of the cross-country team. I am truly excited to be able to continue in my passions while at Framingham State. The past few years, I have enjoyed being a part of the cross-country, winter, and spring track teams at Vogue, and I was honored to be chosen as captain of the cross-country team. Being a part of these teams has shaped who I am and has shown me to always strive to pursue what I love at my best ability. My time at Vogue has really helped me to figure out of what I would like to pursue after high school. I hope to use my biology degree to work in the medical field. My interest in this field was sparked by my time in the medical assisting shop at Vogue. This shop provided me numerous opportunities to learn more about the medical field. It allowed me to spend time in different parts of the medical field, such as the pharmacy, the pediatric and cardiology centers at Hawthorne, and even time at the wound center, which I was not a fan of. But I hope to use my degree to work in a medical lab focusing on finding cures for diseases. This has recently become even more important to me through my own personal experiences with family members fighting off numerous diseases. Thank you for giving me this scholarship, and it will be a big help on the next chapter of my life. Thank you.
From New Bedford High School, Caitlin Amaral. Caitlin is ranked 14th in her class at New Bedford High out of 574 students and plans to major in computer science at Wentworth Institute of Technology. Caitlin has dual passion for both math and music, a lifelong love of numbers turned into a passion for logic and computer science in her early high school days. As a senior, Caitlin has become the peer mentor for the high school's advanced placement computer science class. She is also passionate about music, performing in both the school's concert chorale and show choir.
From the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank Dr. and Mrs. Jacob for all of the generosity they have in giving me and the other recipients this award. In my time at the high school, I've come to found a love for computer science, a subject I was kind of thrown into by accident. Over the 3 years that I've been in computer science classes, I've found that it can really make a difference in the world, and when I had the opportunity this year to partake in an internship downtown with IoT Impact Labs, I really learned what it meant to make a difference. I plan to attend Wentworth in the fall for a degree in computer science, and I hope that through this education I'll be able to inspire the people in this city that no matter where they start in the world, they can make any changes and any difference and accomplish amazing things. Thank you for this scholarship, and I'm very excited for the coming years and what I will be able to achieve.
Ranking second in her class at New Bedford High School, Gwyn Eichmann. Gwyn plans to study chemistry with possible minors in computer science, mathematics, and a language at the University of Delaware. Gwyn attended the C-Lab Marine Science program every summer from 4th through 9th grade. Throughout high school, she has maintained a 4.0 unweighted average, has taken a total of 8 advanced placement classes, and has taken college-level psychology. Gwyn has been an active member of the National Honor Society, through which she tutors at Keith Middle School for math and English. Gwyn has been studying the martial art of Tan Soo Do for 10 years and has been helping to teach the beginners class for the past 4 years. Both experiences have had a huge impact on her, and she is currently in the process of testing for her black belt. It's like a well-oiled machine.
I know. Everybody knows. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so incredibly honored to be here today and to be a recipient of the Jacobs Family Scholarship. I wish to thank Dr. Jacobs and Mrs. Jacobs for their generosity in providing this amazing opportunity to me and my fellow students. I also want to thank my entire family, my parents, my grandparents, aunts and uncles, for their always support for me and for being with me today. This scholarship is something that I've been working towards my entire high school career, and I cannot put into words how honored I am to have received it. I'll be attending the University of Delaware this fall with a major in chemistry. I'm so excited to begin this new chapter of my life and could not have done it without the support of my family and the many outstanding teachers in the Bedford Public Schools. Once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart, Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs.
Skylar Reese ranks first in the New Bedford High School class and plans to major in environmental sciences and biological oceanography at Harvard. Growing up in New Bedford, her love for the ocean brought her to the Sea Lab Marine Science program in the summer after her 4th grade. Learning about the earth while standing on its shores and swimming in its waters was truly an experience she could not get enough of, and she attended every year through her 9th grade. Since then, she has continued to go back to Sea Lab as a teacher's assistant and snorkeling instructor. Her love for the earth and the ocean carried over into high school life, where she has taken advanced placement biology and environmental science. She also took an ocean environment class as a dual enrollment student at UMass Dartmouth. Outside of class, Skyla is a president of the Science Club, which aims to help the community through beach cleanups and other public works.
Next year we're going to get it right.
Right. So, oh, sorry, boy. Joan, you and I have to go to school for this, I think. We'll figure it out.
Hi, Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs and everyone here today. I'm Skyla. I'm a senior at New Bedford High School. I cannot thank you enough for your generosity towards me and other local students. The financial impact of your scholarship allows me to attend Harvard in the fall, where I can focus more on my studies and less on tuition. My intended concentration will be environmental science with a focus on biological oceanography. I believe people love what they understand and only understand what they are taught. With your help, I hope to get a degree in environmental science so that I can become a vessel of knowledge about the world for others, and maybe one day we can share a mutual love for our earth. You are truly an inspiration. I hope to give back to New Bedford as you have time and time again. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
So there's 2 more things I want to do before I hand the microphone over to the Jacobs. One, I don't know if you picked up, but how often did you hear about Sea Lab in the history of these 5 scholars? A wonderful program that's part of our public school system and something that benefits from the Jacobs philanthropy. An important program and something that really sets New Bedford away from the rest. Then I also want to do a little unscripted thing. My staff hates when I do this. If there are family, I want to acknowledge, because none of these kids got here alone. We all know that. If you're a member of the family of one of these 5 scholars, will you please stand up so we can thank you? If you have taught or tutored or managed any of the education of these 5 students, will you please stand up so we can thank you? And with that, I have the very deep and wonderful and sincere pleasure of introducing you to Joan and Erwin Jacobs.
Good afternoon, everyone. Every year it just gets better and better. So I have to give my heartiest congratulations to the students and to their families. They couldn't have done it without their moms and their dads. I know as the parent of 4 sons and 12 grandchildren. So, congratulations. I also want to thank all of the past recipients for coming back. I know that's been a dream of mine, and I'm so happy that you've all decided to do that, and we can meet up later and have a little chat. And keep on doing good work, because you have the ability to change the world, just as you've all said, and I know you're going to do it.
And I'd like to add my congratulations to the scholarship winners. I know you're going to do fantastic things in college and beyond college, and we look forward to hearing about your adventures in the future. So we look forward to all of that. Life, it's very hard to anticipate what might happen. And as you heard before, I did start out as a university professor for 13 years, actually, and then was a dropout. And that I went into business. And didn't really appreciate how much one might be able to accomplish in business. My first company started as a part-time enterprise, and then built and built and built, and we did sell it, it was mentioned. The next company was Qualcomm, and I very carefully explained to Joan at the time that we're not going to get as large as Linkabit, the first company, did, but maybe we'll get to 100 people. But we did have an idea about a technology for mobile phones, CDMA, and that's done very well. People often ask me whether I could anticipate what it might grow to as we were working on it. And you can never quite ever predict some of these things. I say in the case of the business plan we put together, we would get a number that, you know, looking around what might happen, then decide that's a crazy number, divide by 2, still crazy, divide by 2 again, etc. Well, what's happened? There's now over 7 billion people using cellular connections in the world today. There's only a little over 7 billion people in the world today. And so the number of cellular connections is right up there, and people are now predicting that because of connecting not just people, but objects, that the number is going to go to 20 billion by 2020. And so there's still a lot happening, a lot of growth. The capabilities that one, I reached in my pocket because that's where I keep my phone. The capabilities that have gone into the phones, as you know, are quite amazing. These days, most of us can't leave home without it. It has all of our memories, all of our communication needs, just about everything we might need during the course of the day that we bring with us. The interesting thing is that as far as the capabilities are concerned, we still have probably at least another factor of 2 and maybe a factor of 4 over the next 4 years to bring to those devices. And so then the question is, you know, what might we be doing with those? Well, one of the areas, of course, is artificial intelligence. We've built a significant amount of capability in the phones already for handling artificial intelligence, but that field keeps growing. You may have just noticed in the newspaper that there's a computer that was playing the Go champion of the world. A few months ago, it defeated the national champion of South Korea, who was, I think, the #2 Go player. Go is an ancient Chinese game of, if you ever tried, very, very difficult to kind of work your way through and hopefully ever win a game. They just completed the second game of a competition with the #1 Go player in the world, who's a 19-year-old, I believe, Chinese citizen. And so far, the machine has won both games. And so you might say, well, how does all that happen? You can't teach rules for the game. You can teach what plays you can make, but you can't teach how to do better. And so if this is the case using artificial intelligence, that the machine learns itself how to play better. Initially, it's got some help from masters, from information from previous games, and that's how it got to the point where it beat the South Korean master. But then it ended up, for the last few months, having games against another version of itself. And so, whoa, it would play various games, make different moves. One side, one of the computers would win, the other computer would win. Both of them would learn how to do a little bit better and got to the point now where it beats the #1 player. And the other interesting aspect of it, as you see comments from these players, that the machines make moves that they would never have anticipated in all the centuries that this game has been undertaken. So artificial intelligence is making a lot of headway. We're all aware also of robotics, that the machines that make things are getting more both artificial intelligence, mechanical agility, et cetera, and many sensors becoming more powerful. I think we're aware of the quick movement toward autonomous vehicles, cars that will drive, and trucks that will drive themselves, and probably do it much more safely than we do because they have a lot more sensors that are feeding into it. One interesting aspect is that the little chip that goes in your phone that has right now 4 billion transistors on it and is about to go up again by this factor of 4, that a lot of these functions are handled by that chip, and the same chip can be used in both the robotics, in drones, and in autonomous vehicles. And so all kinds of possibilities there. Well, when you read about this, you'll see that people have worries about this, quite rightfully, because a number of jobs are going to be indeed replaced by the fact that we're getting better at artificial intelligence, better, for example, at driving. And that is a concern. There are a number of people whose jobs will be lost. And so we're going to have to go through a period of adjustment. I myself view that as a very promising possibility, although again, we've got a lot of managing to do. But if you think about it, with all these capabilities, we're going to be able to provide all of the services, all of the goods that any of us need around the world with fewer hours than are being worked today. And so the positive thought about that is that we'll be able to look forward to a future, not that work cannot be lots of fun, but that where we're required to work fewer hours, perhaps 20 hours would be enough as we look further forward to be able to accomplish many of these things. We do have a very significant problem to work on, and perhaps some of these students will help in that direction, that we have right now a tremendous inequality in income. Not everybody can buy the goods and services that are available today. If we look forward, we need to be working toward a situation where the distribution is better accomplished, whether there's a guaranteed minimum income that's being provided, whatever approach will work our way to, hopefully, that one that provides a much more reasonable standard for all of us. What might we do at the time that's then available? Well, clearly education will go on forever. There are a number of organizations, certainly here in New Bedford, they've expanded greatly to provide cultural activities. Some of you mentioned athletics, that you'd be able to get out and spend a bit more time on long distance running or tennis, golf, whatever. That some of that additional time can be very usefully spent, and of course, hopefully much of it be able to spend more time with family. And so, again, I look in this as being a very positive development. We have lots to get through, lots of transitions to make, but I think it will happen. And with the improvements here in New Bedford in education, infrastructure, et cetera, hopefully a lot of it will happen here in New Bedford. Thank you all very much. And congratulations.
So we also know that education doesn't change in a vacuum. It requires leadership. It requires bold vision. It requires an aggressiveness and a clarity of focus and purpose. So it is with great pleasure that I introduce you to the mayor of our city, John Mitchell, who has clearly made education a priority for his administration, and it really shows. Mayor Mitchell.
Well, thanks, John. Nice job today. Really great event, and I want to thank James and the board here at the Whaling Museum for opening your doors up again for this terrific event. So I'm the guy standing between you and the reception. So I've been a politician long enough to know when I should keep it short. This is one of those occasions. I want to congratulate the recipients of the scholarships today. Your work, your accomplishments are known to me. I'm familiar with them. You guys have reputations, great reputations that precede you, and I know that all of you are going to be launched well, and you should be really proud of what you've accomplished. I think in the next couple of weeks, all of you will have to start making plans to build bigger trophy cases because you'll be getting lots of other awards. You know, and it's great to hear that you're all going to be devoting yourselves to scientific pursuits. I think the Jacobs might not hold you to that if you end up cooking pastry as skillfully as Brandon Roderick. He gets a dispensation. I'm not sure that Donna Califf gets a dispensation though, because if you think about it, she's trying to get kids off of the screens whose technology Irwin is responsible for. So there's a little bit of an irony there. It's hard to escape, but anyway, we're all very proud of what you guys have accomplished and the other recipients. Yeah, you've heard me say this before, but you know, I can't say enough about the generosity of Joan and Irwin. This event is very, very validating for everybody who cares about education in our community, everybody who cares about New Bedford. You know, we've been working very hard for a number of years now on improving opportunity for children in our city. That effort is based on the proposition that New Bedford kids can learn as well as anybody else, and that we have to work extremely hard to make opportunity available to them, and it's not something that government can do all by itself. It does require folks to step up, whether it's parents, whether it's organizations, whether it's folks like the Jacobs who are finding ways to give kids a hand up. And that's what it takes for our community to succeed, for kids to be able to pursue the American dream. We've got to throw open the doors for them all together, all of us working together. So I see Josh Amaral from the school committee. I know he feels very strongly in the same way here. So we can't thank you enough for making that happen. This is you know, as I hear the stories of the past recipients, and as you look through your program and see their accomplishments and the legacy that has really developed over some 16, 17 years of giving out these scholarships, this ceremony is a real thing now. Everybody knows what the Jacobs Scholarship is in our community. People understand it to be a mark of excellence. People also understand it to be a validation of what we believe as a community, what we believe as Americans as being really important. That is giving everybody a shot. So, and we couldn't do it without you, Irwin and Joan. And on behalf of the city, again, I just really want to emphasize we can't thank you enough for what you've done for us. Thank you.
So as the mayor mentioned, we have a lovely reception to celebrate today's scholars. We also want to make sure that past scholars as well as the new scholars take a moment to go into the Waddles Gallery and spend some time with Dr. and Mrs. Jacobs. This is an immensely fun opportunity for you to get to know this new tribe that you are now the newest members of. For the last 17 years, this tribe has been growing slowly and methodically and thoughtfully. And from Donna to Eric to Brandon to all the other folks you met earlier, you're now going to get to know them better. And so Skylar, Isaiah, Caitlin, Gwen, and Vanessa, congratulations. Best of luck. Work hard. Come home soon.